The Cavaliers have filled their final roster spot, and it just may be the sneaky good move that they have both made in the past and could benefit them at some point down the stretch or in the playoffs. Hey everybody, Billy BB back with you on Cavs Digest. Excited to talk Cavs basketball. We got some later kind of semi-breaking news from the Cavs last night as they added Chuma Okeke to the roster. Koby Altman fills that final spot with a power forward center-ish style player, which we'll take a look at in just a second as the roster looks about set for the playoffs. Cavaliers need one more win to seal the 1 seed. Really, really exciting there, and I know fans are pumped up to see them possibly get it done tonight. So we're excited to that. We're going to talk about what Okeke means to the Cavaliers, what type of playing time he'll get, what type of player he is, and of course, I want to get your thoughts. Drop down into the comments, subscribe to the channel. I'm always looking to interact with people, get their thoughts. We just talked Donovan Mitchell, his MVP case, the year he's had, and I know it was really split. Some people said it's about MVPs. He looks like an MVP. It's not about MVPs. He doesn't seem to be, so forth. That's why I love it when people subscribe and drop down in the comments because they get a feel for what people are thinking, which we'll love to do that today. The Cavaliers making this late addition of Chuma Okeke to the roster last night. If you're like me, you had to look him up, right? Sometimes that's the name of the game. He's had some time in the league. He's had some good college runs, but you want to look him up, see who he is, what the situation is. And look, going back to the trade deadline, I wanted another big. That's what I wanted for the Cavaliers. That's how I wanted them, Koby Altman, to fill that spot with a big. Not many options left. I had my eye on Alex Len possibly getting cut by the Lakers. That doesn't end up happening. And the Cavaliers end up going with a talented, there's some talent there, an upside style player, power forward with a shot, but can also athletically make some play on some bigs in Chuma Okeke. So personally, right off the bat, I like what I've seen. If you look him up, both in college and coming out, there's some good stuff there. There's definitely some good stuff there. Bouncing around the G League a little bit. So I want to actually take you back. These are his stats with the Westchester Knicks this year in the G League. Pretty good, right? That's what you'd want from a talented NBA-bound G League player right there in 17 and a half, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. He's doing it all. He's really built like that. He's a really athletic player. I like, from the film we've watched, I like everything he can do at different times. I think he's got some bounce. He can grab rebounds and get aggressive, but he can also shoot a little bit of his own shot creation. He's more of a bully down low, and the almost 5 assists per game definitely needed at this point, because if he does find the floor one way or another for the Cavaliers, he's not going to be the number 1, 2, 3, or maybe even the 4th option. So going back to 2019, this is the Ringer.com's NBA draft guide. Tragic. He actually tore his ACL during the tournament. He was set to be a lottery pick, tore his ACL with Auburn in the tournament, and he still went 16th to the Magic. So there was a lot of hype for him. There were things people saw in college that they really felt like he was going to take to the NBA. And if you look at those comparisons early coming out of college, Robert Covington, Mo Harkless, if you're a Cavs fan, kind of a nice flashback to get that Donyell Marshall comparison. And look, 3-and-D upside, right? A consistent 3-and-D player. He came out at 20 years old. If you don't remember, this is the Darius Garland draft. So a loaded draft at the top, and then it kind of fell out a little bit. And again, just tragic to think in the tournament, getting ready to be a lottery pick, the guy tears his ACL, and it certainly kind of changes his career trajectory, because then it's just trying to get healthy again, bouncing around the G League, never getting consistent playing time in the pros. Honestly, Orlando was probably perfect for him to go into, and he still couldn't really stick there. And then this year actually gets the opportunity to get some time with the Philadelphia 76ers, right? And I believe it's 2 10-day contracts with the 76ers. Solid in some minutes that he got there. As I said, he can score, he can rebound, and he can pass. He just hasn't been able to consistently, number one, be on one team, and number two, you think about the 2 franchises he's been with. starting off with the Magic when they weren't really that great, little dysfunctional in the G League, never quite making it to their top. And then now the Sixers, now he spent this year with the Sixers. I think it would really, really benefit him to get on the Cavaliers, be around that culture, be around the winning, the work going on right now. You know, you hear Donovan Mitchell the other day in the clip I was playing talking about Johnny Bryant. We know what Kenny Atkinson has done for players like this, right? Is this not a slightly shorter version of Al Horford? That I also think is a pretty good comparison. At only 6'6", you know, he's not going to catch center-esque comparisons, but, you know, this is a guy who can shoot the three, definitely can rebound, and definitely can get physical on the wing or down low. I know he's going to be grouped as a power forward. I think he could be seen as a wing, and I think he could find some minutes with this group once again in this final stretch. Now, my big question is Koby Altman brings in Okeke, and the question is there any role for him here? Is there any role for him on this team? You already have a battle, as I was talking about, between Okoro, Merrill, Javonte Green, Strus for that wing spot, that 2 spot. You got guys battling over that already with Donovan Mitchell, of course, headlining that down low. If he is a power forward, if he can play like a power forward, maybe they can find him some spot playing here or there to relieve Mobley and Allen at times. But, I think Koby Altman filled it out with the best possible option. I just don't know that we're going to see this guy a whole bunch. Cavaliers have to seal up that 1 seed. That'll tell us a lot, right? To give Okeke unmeaningful minutes. Mitchell had to play 30-plus minutes the other night to help the Cavaliers beat the Jalen Brunson-less Knicks. They're just not ready yet to invest and give a guy like this 20-plus minutes per game. They will be once they seal up the 1 seed, and they're not really worried about winning 65, 66 games anymore. So first initial question I would have for you guys is, what do you think about his story? Do you want to try and hopefully tap back into that guy that was going to be a lottery pick? Or is it we have to kind of get with the guy they have now who can make a few plays here or there, who has some NBA experience and has looked really good in the G League? I think that's where I land, and that's what I'd like to know how you feel about that. Is that the type of player you wanted? Or would you have had, say, a Marcus Morris, a Danny Green type? The Cavaliers have done well in those final stretches, picking up guys like that actually can end up playing. You can make jokes and whatnot about Danny Green and Marcus Morris, but they played for the Cavaliers. They benefited them to an extent in the playoffs. Morris more than Green, but both actually played for the Cavaliers. Is this a guy that could play, if needed, for the Cavaliers in the playoffs? Not sure there. Would you have rather they gone for something else? That's my other question to you. I'm sick that Jonas Valanciunas isn't on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Wasn't many big options after Valanciunas was traded, so the Cavaliers kind of resorted to different options. So we'll keep an eye on Chuma Okeke, the newest addition to the Cavaliers. Could be a sneaky good addition. I trust Koby Altman. Again, the Green and Morris signings ended up benefiting the Cavs. They used those guys, so I trust Altman to do something similar with Okeke. But we'll keep an eye on it, so be sure to subscribe to Cavs Digest.